Finally, a must-see Marvel Cinematic Universe movie since Endgame. Here is your review for Spider-Man No Way Home, right here on Movies in a Nutshell. Hello and welcome to the final episode of Movies in a Nutshell for 2021. I'm your amazing, spectacular, award-winning host for Movie Melee, Detective Artimus. And before we go on, you hit that thumbs up button because I know it, you know it, Mr. Ditkovich knows it. You really want to like this. Please, today our movie will be Spider-Man No Way Home. In this video, we'll be talking about spoilers, so if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home yet, hit that watch it on this video, go and watch it exclusively in theaters, and then come back in and join in on the goddamn discussion. Go! Or if you don't care about spoilers and you're a maniac, sit back and let's talk. Once again directed by Jon Watts, who gave us Homecoming and Far From Home, we have the final film of the Avengers and Little Iron Spidey, because by the end of this movie, he'll be all alone, as he should be. That's right, all iron ties are cut. Now I know I've been waiting to see this because I think Spider-Man works best by himself. He's a good loner, much like Batman. Our story is about Tom Parker Peter Holland, taking place immediately after the events of Far From Home, where his identity is revealed to the whole world. Oh geez, Mrs. Stark, this is gonna suck. Even though he was dead at that point, so it doesn't matter. And because of that, he, his friends, and Aunt May's life become a living hell. So he goes to Doctor Strange to conjure up a memory-wiping spell that makes everyone except his friends and family forget that That makes everybody forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But then chaos ensues and doors to Spider-Verse are now open. Except no Miles Morales, but when he does make his live-action debut, the world will happily erupt and I'll be there for it. Loosely based on A Moment in Time and One More Day, this movie serves as a catalyst for Peter Parker cutting all ties to the Avengers and having his secret identity back once again. It almost feels like a soft reboot, but I think that's a good thing, because now we can start fresh. It's almost like a brand new day. I always made fun of Tom Holland's Spider-Man because he always needed other heroes to help him carry a movie. Well, this time, he literally needed other Spider-Man to help this movie out. Just kidding. Not really. It juggled a ton of story, and even with all the special cameos, it didn't take away or overshadow Tom's storyline, which is an impressive feat. Good job, Mr. Watts. Fantastic Four is in good hands. Hopefully. We'll have to see. All jokes aside though, if John really wanted to impress me, he would have also called Nicholas Hammond and Shinji Todo. I also loved how it fixed things that were wrong with the other movies, like Jamie Foxx's electric makeover, or even expanding character arcs like Doc Ock's redemption, or Tobey curing Norman Osborn. Although I am disappointed that nobody asked if Tobey was a good dancer. Can you imagine that? A spider dance-off? Tobey would have won that for sure. My boy Andrew Garfield's intro was fucking perfect, and I loved every second of it. It reminded people of how good of a Spider-Man he really was. And when he caught MJ from falling down, he was smiling and crying at the same time. That was beautifully acted. It got me a little bit. It jerked the emotional chords a bit. He finally got that emotional closure now that he was able to save MJ, because he was not able to save Gwen, and that made him very bitter, as it probably would most people. He said himself he wasn't pulling back his punches. I want to see him punch someone's block off, like Shorty from Killer Clowns. It pretty much gave him a better resolution for his character arc, cleaning up the mess of Sony. Good job, Jon Watts and Marvel. And Tobey was Tobey. Aside from his intro and his interactions, nothing else really stood out, except when his spider sense failed and he got stabbed by Green Goblin. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. Something like that, I don't know. Not to be too hard on Tobey, but as a kid, I loved him just like everybody else, but that was because he was it. There was nothing else, and there have been better iterations of the character since then. But I guess there's always that nostalgia. Seeing all the Spider-Verse villains interact was very cool and hilarious. But the best of all was Wilem Dafoe. Who would have thought? He's a good actor. He was much better in this than his Sam Raimi counterpart because he wasn't so goddamn cartoony. Fucking Power Rangers villain. Does Tom Holland's Spider-Man not have an Uncle Ben? I mean, I knew it was alluded before, but here it just flat out plain like he doesn't exist. When Aunt May utters the famous words, he act like he never heard it before. And then when May is buried, there is no Ben buried next to her. So, what the hell? To me, that is a major mischaracterization if Uncle Ben didn't exist or even have an impact on Spider-Man being a superhero. That just is quintessential, but it's different, I guess. We got Uncle May now. Tobey and Andrew are the Spider Bros I never knew I needed. One more movie. One more movie. One more who are we kidding? Tobey is flat out done with this shit. For real this time. There's a line that Tobey mentions to Ned Leeds that his best friend Harry almost tried to kill him. So then Ned goes to Tom and he's all like, sorry man, I promise I'm never gonna try to kill you. Which is funny because as most people know, Ned Leeds eventually becomes the third Hobgoblin and in fact does try to kill Peter Parker Spider-Man. But don't worry, he dies. In addition to confirming Ned's last name is Leeds, it also confirmed that MJ's last name, Michelle Jones, is also Watson. MJ Watson. Yay. I don't know why it took him this long to say that, but it's there now. The movie ends when Tom Holland is beating the fuck out of Green Goblin because he killed Aunt May and he is just on the brink of death like Batman about to kill the Joker for the 50,000th time. But then Tobey steps in before the final blow and he's like, good acting, Tobey, don't say a word, less is more. They close the portals and everyone goes back to their universe and Doctor Strange finishes up his spell, but this time, nobody can remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, including his friends, family, and Aunt May, or his friends and family, or his friends. Aunt May's dead now, and the Avengers. Well, they're not dead. The final shots of the movie show Peter Parker moving into his new apartment all by himself, and we see beautiful shots of the classic red and blue costume that I've been waiting to see. Mid-credit scene shows Venom in Mexico as we last saw in Let There Be Carnage, but now he goes back to his own universe. Wow, thanks for stopping by in the MCU for 5 minutes, Venom. But a piece of the black symbiote was left behind, which means, hopefully, we'll get a proper iteration of Black Suit Spider-Man. I've only waited like my whole life for it. So yeah, that was kind of dumb just to have Venom teased in the MCU, only to kick him out 5 minutes later. Well, if it means we'll get a proper Black Suit Spider-Man, I'm all for it. Whatever. Maybe he'll show up in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 3. You know it's gonna happen. It's not, huh? It's really not. And speaking of confusing cameos, how are they gonna explain Vulture in the Morbius movie? Jesus fucking Christ, Sony, get your shit together. Now let's rate the movie, so let's bring out the ratings bar. We have awesome must watch, damn fine movie, good dumb fun, watch when you're bored, and avoid at all costs. To me, this was more than a movie. It was an event, something to really bring all the Spider-Man fans together. All the Tobey, Andrew, and Tom fans together. We are all united now. Brotherhood! It was also a very loaded, yet spectacular story, pun intended, that made the 2.5 hours feel seamless. Good job again, Mr. Watts. That is no easy feat. The visuals were excellent, and the acting was amazing. Especially the likes of Dafoe, Andrew, and Tom. Top tier acting. Good job. You all acted out Tobey. That's all I wanted. This is easily, if not the best Spider-Man movie. For me, it's up there with Into the Spider-Verse and The Amazing Spider-Man. The only real negatives that I have were just some minor nitpicks and didn't really take away from the story. I cannot wait to see where they go next, as Tom is contracted for 3 more Spider-Man movies, the College Trilogy. So, I am hopefully optimistic. So I hereby declare Spider-Man No Way Home. You already know. Avoid at all costs. Just kidding. Awesome must watch. So what did you think of Spider-Man No Way Home, and what was your favorite moment? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to this amazing channel. I am Detective Artimus, and please, Scooby-Doo this shit.